So just over 2 weeks ago, this right here happened in Classic WoW and Season of Discovery, where Alterac Valley was just being published for the first time in the anniversary servers, or I guess let's just call it Fresh Classic WoW, and at that point Season of Discovery players could actually queue into Fresh Anniversary people as well, and Season of Discovery people are working with Ankiraj gear, and basically they are on the Fresh Classic WoW's Phase 5, and Fresh Classic WoW was in Phase 2 at the time. And also, Season of Discovery, players have access to brand new abilities, they have mage healers, they have trap launchers for hunters, and mages are basically one-shotting everyone they're seeing, and they have living bombs. So people from Season of Discovery could 1 versus 10 fresh Classic WoW people, it turned into a bloodbath, and even had some long-lasting effects, both good and bad, for fresh Classic WoW, like for example turning Chrono Boons. They went down in price by a significant amount, and you can buy them for 1 gold now compared to the 5 or 10 it was in the past, so that's a good thing, but also had some pretty negative effects, where once again, Season of Discovery people could absolutely just have a good time. Just it was such a bloodbath in Alterac Valley for that full day basically. It got turned off very quickly, but when they turned Alterac Valley back on, the same problem was still there, so they had to shut it down twice. Now ultimately, it was fixed, so the problem got fixed. That being said, just 4 days ago, so less than 1.5 weeks later, and less than half a week from today, this happened as well, where they launched Naxxramas in Season of Discovery, and at the same time they broke Naxxramas in Classic Era because it's working on the same launcher. So they basically gave Naxxramas to Season of Discovery, and at the same time Naxxramas got broken on Classic Era, where some bosses had up to 7 times their normal health. So imagine you were doing a GDKP for example on Classic Era, and everyone lost their world boss because the bosses had 7 times the health, and you simply couldn't outlast that fight. Or imagine your entire guild was able, you were going in, you were gonna progress on the last boss, and literally everyone lost their world boss. A lot of people simply had their raids wrecked by Blizzard this week. It is not the biggest problem in the world, but once again just shows that even now, Blizzard can't handle 2 separate versions of the game working on the same launcher, and in this case, they keep breaking the old versions. Literally, putting in Alterac Valley in Fresh Classic WoW was too much for them to handle, and then putting in Naxxramas in Season of Discovery was also too much for them to handle. And all of this brings us to today, where we have another problem, which is this one right here. A major bug when transferring from Anniversary Hardcore to PvE. So for anyone who doesn't know, when playing on Hardcore, if you die, or even if you don't die, at any point you have the option to transfer for free from the Hardcore servers to the PvE servers. It's basically a way to keep your character even if you die. So for example, I died on the Hardcore servers, I transferred that character for free to the PvE servers, and then started again on the Hardcore servers as well, while keeping that old character intact and being able to continue that adventure on the PvE server. Now, let's read through this problem, trying to get some visibility on this issue as Blizzard support has been limited, which is pretty much always the case. There are multiple reports, so it is not isolated to me. After dying and transferring from Hardcore Anniversary to PvE, all of my quest progress has been reset. It is as if my character has never completed a single quest and has just spawned in, except they are level 60. The full map is also showing as unexplored. As confirmed by a GM, I had over 1000 quests completed on HC, which has not carried over to PvE. The GM told me they cannot fix it, and it is a developer issue that needs to be resolved. They sent me a link to go to the WoW forum's bug report section, except it is only US, so I cannot post there as an EU player. There is no EU bug reporting forum. Here is my post that I created on the EU technical support forum that I'm not going to click right now. I have found a post made by a US player account regarding the same issue, once again a link. If you're a US player and this has happened to you, please go and respond to that thread. The developers need to be notified so this can be fixed, as it is a game breaker. In the meantime, I strongly advise you to not transfer your character to PvE if you don't want to risk losing all of your character's quest progress. And then there's an edit, all players saying free gold and free rep. Bear in mind I have completed over 1,000 quests, I have zero interest in exploiting game-breaking bugs, doing all low-level quests on autopilot to at 60 to generate gold or extra rep. I am just a normal player who takes the completionist path to have all of my quest progress wiped clean that has completely destroyed my will to keep playing. Also, what if when they fix it, and it involves reverting my character back to when it first joined PvE? I have done my Paladin Mount quest since then, so I may end up losing that, and any other quests that I've completed, alongside any repeats or gear that I get from them. More gold, more rep is a very short-sighted way of looking at that broader issue. So, another thing broken by Blizzard, another system they have implemented and put in place that wasn't broken in the past, like my shaman for example. I was able to keep questing, and I did not experience any of these problems, but apparently it's a bug at the moment, no idea what triggered it or how long it's been here, but apparently when you transfer from hardcore to PvE, all of your quests is reset, which, this is interesting because, like, first of all, it can be annoying, for sure, but also, what are Blizzard going to do about the people that exploit this? Because I can think of some pretty cool items that are quest rewards that you're only meant to have one of, and now you can have multiple. Even going down here, for example, if we keep going, Thrashblade, this was a thing in Season of Mastery, I believe, where Thrashblade was not unique, and we got a way to get it twice, and then they made it unique. I'm pretty sure. It is unique equipped now, but it wasn't always. At least I think so. And then you have some pretty interesting trinkets, and you have some pretty interesting, like for example, the class quests. That could be interesting, some of the class quests and the rewards you get from them. I guess I'm just a little bit surprised here, because how do you mess up launching an old version of Classic WoW where all you're doing is repeating what you've done in the past? And you even manage to screw that up. Like, fresh Classic WoW should not have these problems when it comes to transferring as well from hardcore to PvE. This is not the first time we had that. And it wasn't a bug always, so like, what exactly made this happen, and why has it not been fixed? I mean, in this case, it's only been in for 4 hours, but the previous post was from yesterday as well. It is something that should be fixed really fast, and I would maybe guess that it has something to do with Season of Discoveries Phase 7, because that is the only real update we have had the last week or so, was Season of Discovery, so I would not be surprised if this bug right here has something to do with this one right here, which was basically Season of Discovery Phase 7 that broke Naxxramas on Classic Era. And it's just like, how do you manage to break the launch of Battlegrounds on the Anniversary servers when all you have to do is the same thing you did back in 2019, and you can't even do that? You can't even copy and paste your own homework, and for Classic Era as well, all you have to do is not touch it. But even then, they manage to touch it. And then you have this major bug. I don't get it, man. And speaking from my own perspective here, when it comes to any updates to anything Classic WoW, I'm just thinking, how can this be exploited? Because going back to this post right here, the Alterac Valley post, people that exploited this and got the Chrono Boons literally got rewarded for exploiting. So not only did Blizzard like put in place for you to exploit, they also made sure that if you exploited, you got rewarded for it. You got to keep all your stuff, you could exchange those old Chrono Boons for actual like Classic WoW Chrono Boons, and you got to buy them for 20 silver, instead of the usual 10 gold or whatever. And then they also lowered the real price to 1 gold, of course, but anyone who exploited this bought them for 20 silver, so 1/5 of that price inside Alterac Valley. If you had the rep, you even got it for 18 silver as well, and then you could literally exchange that and get one for a gold. So you were just printing gold out of thin air. And once again, we had this thing right here, and now we have this bug as well, which you can literally exploit to get multiple of certain items and even get even more reputation. So you can do all of the human quests all over again to get exalted, or let's say you're a human and you want to have the Night Saber mount from Darnassus. You can do all your Darnassus quests over again and get reputation for free, and even get some gold while doing so. And it just feels like, with the way they handled exploiters in this major mess up right here, what are they gonna do here? Like, if you exploit this, will anything happen? And it's also getting to the point where when Fresh Classic WoW Phase 3 comes out, I'm just wondering, how is Blizzard gonna mess that up? And how can people exploit it? Either way, make sure to not use this, like right here, if you like don't want to be affected by it. Like, for example, like he said down here, one way they might fix this is revert your character back to the point it was when you transferred it, in which case he has done the paladin quest, for example, as you can see over here. What if when they fix it, it involves reverting my character back to when it first joined PvE? I have done my paladin mount quest since then, so I may end up losing that, and any other quest that I've completed alongside any repeat or gear that I get from them. So keep that in mind here, and maybe just hope this gets fixed as soon as possible. Let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments down below, and hopefully that's the last negatively charged video I have to make in quite a while. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Once again, leave a like, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more content. As always, thank you for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon.